Hello there. I'd like to talk just a short little bit about thinking outside the box. You run across a situation where you need something and you don't have the money, or you need something and, uh, you know, you can't wait for the UPS truck to deliver it or whatever. You need it now. Uh, A while back, I bought a strop from Star Shaving. It was just a simple, basic strop. It's just a basic, good piece of leather with a D-ring on one end and a grommet. You see, I cut that off. I'm going to show you in a little bit what I did. A grommet on the other end, and I hung it, that swivel there on the end of it, and used it for several months, just like it was. But I like to use a cloth component of a strop at the end of a shave to kind of heat the blade up a little bit after I dry it real good with tissue paper, just to make sure there's not any moisture left in that blade before I oil it and put it away. And what I was having to do is I was having to go get a strop that I had made out of what I think is lesser leather than what's in this Star strop, and drag that in here and used the cloth component on that to strop my blade. So I was messing around with two different strops and it was aggravating. And so what I did is I went down to Goodwill and I bought a cotton belt. It's a cotton weave, and I just took that and cut it to the right size. Got me some hardware, a D-ring, and a couple of fasteners. Cut the strop. Let me back up where you can see that. And now that it already had a handle on the end of it, I could have took that off and put a D-ring on it, but I don't see the point. It's got a handle already built into it. It works really well. And now I have a really nice 2-inch strop with a cloth component. And everything, including shipping, to do this cost me about $25. The strop, I think, was about $17. It was $22 or $23 delivered. The belt was a couple of dollars. And then $1.37. Well, so I got about $28, not $25. In this strop, the D-rings were a couple of dollars. The fasteners were $1.37. So I got $28, somewhere in that range, tied up in this strop. And that's as nice a strop as you'll get pretty much anywhere for, for what I paid. It's nicer than you'll get anywhere for $28 that I'm aware of. And so, I mean, I wanted that component. I didn't want to spend $40 or $50 on a another 2-inch strop with cloth. Eventually I will, just because I want a spare strop and I want to buy a straight razor design strop because I think they're some of the nicest I've seen. But for right now, there's nothing absolutely at all wrong with this strop. It'll work for the rest of my life if I want it to, and it's a wonderful strop for the money. I needed something. I didn't have the money for it. And I thought, well, let's find a way to make what I need. Similarly, we've seen the threads of people talking about stropping on newspaper, taking old blue jeans and stropping them. Hey, go get an old belt from Goodwill. That's what I did. I mean, there, and then I have an old leather belt that I used for a long time that I paid like $5 for at a flea market. There are times, I'm not telling you not to buy a nice strop. By all means, I think that's something everybody that uses a straight ought to have, is a nice strop. But once you learn how to use one without tearing it up. But, if you were in a situation where you had to have one and you didn't have your strop, think outside the box. Same thing with okay, what happens if I run out of shaving soap? Well, that's probably not likely to happen with me because I've got quite a bit. Most of us do. But what happens if I get somewhere and something happens and I run out of shaving soap or shaving cream? Well, maybe I don't have 20 minutes, 30 minutes to run down to the nearest store and get some shaving cream, whatever they've got. Well, in Europe, they use olive oil a lot of times. I don't have olive oil, but I got canola oil in my kitchen. I'd give that a shot. One time, if I was in a hurry, heck, I'd slather up with butter if I had to, if I thought that I could get a good shave out of it and I didn't have any other choice. I'm not talking about doing things to be frugal and being stingy about or miserly or anything about that. I'm talking about real world problems sometimes that we might encounter. There's a bunch of different things that we can do if we just open our mind to it. And I just kind of wanted to do this to kind of encourage you to think outside the box. What would you do if this happened or that happened? Don't always think, well, I have to have the very best that money can buy in order to get a shave done. It's just a shave. Now, we want nice shaves and we want nice things and on all of that. And I'm not saying anything against it, but they're, in an emergency, if you had to have a shave, what would you do? Think outside the box. God bless you. And have a good one.